is on here.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Mr. Butler today.
Yes, D.Butler. D.Butler, if you in the ZFT, I know what time it is.
Yes, I am very happy that you gave me the opportunity to actually go ahead and interview you for the podcast
Hmm.
today. Um, what because I know the D gotta stand for something. Like I'm like, wait,
You know,
you ain't ready yet.
I don't know if I really want everybody to know my business. Like, I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
true.
listen, I'm pretty sure anybody in this group could tell you, like, I'm super private.
And
They
you
be
got
trying,
to,
they be trying their hardest to get some tea on me, man.
yeah.
But I be trying
Yeah.
to keep it chill. Like, I jump in when I need to jump in, and I jump out like double dutch. Like, y'all know what time it is. I just be here. I'll be here with it.
You know, that's so true. I just noticed, like, as far as like when you're responding in the chat, like
Yeah,
I was like, dang, he just came out of nowhere. You and Mr. Jones, you and Mr.
Jones.
Jones, y'all
Oh,
come out of
Pat
nowhere.
Jones.
Yeah.
Shout out to
I be
Pat
like,
Jones, man. Pat Jones is a great guy,
he's
man.
amazing. He is
Great guy.
amazing. Yes, y'all be coming out of nowhere. It's like I won't hear from y'all for a while, and then
Mm-hmm.
boom, here you go, dropping the bomb.
Listen, I come for the important stuff. I come to drop that mac and cheese, not me,
Yeah.
because I be
Mm.
getting a lot of requests for the mac and cheese. Like I said, my new name in the group chat. You know, matter of fact, if y'all want a name, my new name in the group chat is Mac Daddy. All right, just call me Mac Daddy. All right.
Yes, you know, so I don't eat the cheese, but my kids do, so I'm definitely open to a mac and cheese
I got
thing.
you. I got you on the next one. You know what? I might actually make that today, later on today. So
Look,
I'm gonna let
look,
you know. I'm gonna let you
I
know.
definitely want some. I would travel for that.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Every opportunity I don't have to cook is a good opportunity. So
Amen. Amen to that. Yeah, I mean, hey,
yeah.
listen, man, if y'all want to cook for me too, y'all let me know because I'm kind of hungry right now. So please, please, if I don't gotta cook
Oh,
within the next couple of hours, I'll take it. I'll
look.
take it.
And I made some a big pot of like lima beans, and I keep talking about
Yeah.
beans because they were so good. And you know,
Okay.
just beans bring you home. I don't know, it's something
Absolutely.
about 'em.
Especially with the Caribbean folks, you know, we got our beans and everything. But I know they call it rice and peas, but I never
Yeah,
understood it because it's beans.
yep. Hmm.
But to
So
each
let
his
me
own.
tell you something. Okay, so let's get to that.
Uh-huh.
So background, ethnicity. Let's go ahead. Let's get into that.
So, right. Based based on what I know, I'm Jamaican and Dominican, I
Hmm.
guess in black, whatever you want to call all that other stuff. I actually have no real ties to
Hmm.
either,
Yeah.
but throughout my entire, not my entire, I'll say like from like my teens up until now, I
Mhm.
resonate a lot with my Jamaican root.
Okay.
You guys haven't really, well, you kind of saw a little bit one
Yes.
time and you saw me
Yeah.
getting down.
Yes.
So you know the vibes when it comes to the dancing and stuff like that. So I definitely resonate with my Jamaican side. I really know nothing about my Spanish side whatsoever. I don't really know much about my Jamaican side other than the fact that I know my dad's mom was like
Mhm.
Jamaican and all that other stuff. Only when I went to our house just like a few times. Like I
Yeah.
I really don't have too much family ties with anybody.
Yeah. Okay. Okay then. Because so you mentioned rice and beans. That's why I asked that. So my
Mm,
family, my extended family, my stepfather, they are Belizean. So they say rice
mm,
and beans, but it's beans.
mm.
You know, they just said in that accent, but it's
Yeah,
beans.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
peas. I
yeah.
was I was ordering from this Jamaican restaurant and it said rice and peas. And I'm like,
Hmm.
what is rice and peas? I don't know this.
I,
And it's
I don't
regular.
understand it either.
Right. I'm like, wait a minute. But
Listen, teachers
it
though,
just like,
we not gonna say nothing. We gonna eat it. We gonna love it, and that's it. Because it's good. It's not like it's bad. It's still good.
so
So
good.
that's all that matters.
Yes, it's so good. You ain't never lied. That and stewed chicken. What's your favorite Jamaican dish?
So I don't eat too much red meat, but
Hmm.
especially out here. But when I go back home, I
Hmm.
gotta have me a plate of oxtail, man. But I do white rice. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm really not a rice and peas type of guy. I try
Hmm.
to stick to white rice because
Yeah.
it's a little more healthy than all the rest. But
Hmm.
yeah, that oxtail with some white rice and some sweet plantains. I mean, we just call it plantains, but
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all I
Yes.
need right there. That is all I
Yeah.
need right there.
I love plantains as long as they're fried. Like if it's fried on the little
Hmm.
corners and soft in the middle. Oh, ooh,
Hmm.
they so
It can't
good.
be too soft though, because sometimes
Yeah.
they be putting them bull crap ones out for you to like, scoop up and put on your plate. They trying to get rid of the too ripe
Mhm.
ones. And I
Yep.
don't like that. I
Yep.
need it just right. Just right.
Yep. I make sure I put in the comments because I know they don't take too much comments. They like, now you can't be altering nothing. But I'm like, yeah. So I just will never forget. I had called this restaurant. It's one of my favorites. I love to go
Mm.
to out here. Um, I called and he was like, "What you want?" And I'm like, "Dang."
You know we
But I was
aggressive
okay
now.
with that.
You
I
know
was okay with
we're a little aggressive. We oh we want no we want.
And he was trying to tell me like, "Oh, you don't know what you want," like, and I'm like, "Wait, I don't know if I know what I want." But
What spot you talking about?
is it Tropic Island? Is it no. Hold
I was
on.
about to say
Dang
I
it.
don't know
I
that
can't
one.
even see. I can't even like give you my phone and
Yeah,
see because I'm using it.
I got
But
you.
it's Tropic something.
I'm gonna have to look that one up because
Yeah.
out of all the ones that I've been to, there is two that I actually think are pretty decent out
Hmm.
here. Because I know Houston's taste buds is completely
Different.
different
Different.
than what it's supposed to. Because y'all be
Yep.
hyping up all these not I'm not saying y'all as in you. I don't know if you're from here or not, but they be hyping up all these goddamn foods and they be
Yeah.
trash,
Yeah,
super
they do.
trash,
Sometimes they do.
especially the Caribbean spots. But
I
shout
like
out
how they do.
to shout out to Caribbean Hot Pot
Okay.
and Lucian's. If y'all want some real good Caribbean food,
Okay.
go to those two spots. All them other jump offs, was the Jamaican Ponda Road, trash. Reggae Hut, I love the people in there dearly, but trash. I love their chicken patties though. They got some good chicken patties, some good sorrow. Um, Cool Runnings, trash. I
I
don't like
agree.
none of those spots. I
So
trash.
look, let me tell you something. Okay, big question because I noticed the sauce is different and I can't taste the brown
Mm.
sugar. I
Mm-hmm.
can't taste the pepper. Like it's supposed to be spicy. It's not as spicy. I don't know. I just haven't come across some good jerk chicken sauce.
You know
So I
what's
just
funny?
do curry now.
So I
It's
do
soup.
curry. I've been doing curry for many years now.
Hmm.
The only time that I actually get some jerk chicken is in
Hmm.
Jamaica. When I go to Jamaica,
Mm.
gotta go get that
I
authentic
already
jerk
know.
chicken from the people on from the little vendors on the street. Now I mean little street carts and
I
stuff like
already
that.
know.
Now I
Yeah.
mean some resorts got some good jerk chicken too.
Yeah.
They got like a little jerk cabin or whatever they call it.
Mm.
But yeah,
Okay.
not out here.
Okay.
I can't give you no recommendations out here for jerk chicken.
Let me tell you. So you mentioned food trucks. I noticed sometimes their food is better than the restaurants.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
way 1,000 times better out here
Absolutely.
in Houston.
You
So
you want to know what the problem is?
yeah.
A lot of places get too big, like in regards to like, the hype of their establishment. So what
Hmm.
happens is from when they first started, it used to be quality over quantity, right? So then
Hmm.
it probably was good for a little while. Maybe it'd be like a year they
Hmm.
had like a good little span where it was nice. I mean, you go in there, but then after that year is up and so many clients and everything starts to come into the establishment, now they're trying to just like keep up with the demand. So now they're not really caring about how the product is really coming out. So now it's quality
Hmm.
over quantity. So
Hmm.
that's one thing that I realized. But when you got food trucks, they make a certain portion for the day and it's fresh for
Yeah.
you. Like, now I mean,
Yeah.
and it's authentic. It's
Yeah.
that. Now I mean, so there's one barbecue truck that I actually found out here. Again, I don't eat red meat, so I just got the chicken, and it was really,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
And turkey neck. The turkey neck was good too. It's called Blue Check Barbecue or something like that. If you see
Okay.
that guy, he's on Instagram too, but if you see that guy,
Hmm.
get his food. Get his food. Get
That
his
and
food.
Yo-Yo's hot dog. You said you said when I go back home. So where's home for you?
Home is New York. From New York.
Okay.
I've been here for 2 years now, actually.
Okay.
Well, not yet, but this month will be 2
Yeah.
years. It's been
Yeah.
a nice little journey, but home is
Yeah.
home.
Yeah. So how do you feel about being a person who came from New York and now living in Houston? Like, what is the vibe like for you? Is it receptive of you? Do you feel like it sounds like you're receiving this place, but is the place receiving you? Do you feel like?
So, I mean, no matter where you go in life, there's always going to be like ups and downs, right?
Mhm.
The good thing about me is like I know how to adapt to my
Yeah.
environments.
Yep.
And I'm never going to put myself in uncompromising situations. Although I
Mhm.
did one time here and I paid for it dearly.
Mhm.
Um, but other than that, I find my circle. I find what it is that I enjoy. That's the number one thing. Like, and that's actually like a part of my journey. That I had to realize like doing things alone will get you a lot further than always depending on somebody else to kind of like
Yeah.
take that journey with you. I mean,
Yeah.
and it could be the simplest things. Like y'all know I love karaoke, y'all know I love to dance or whatever
Hmm.
the case may be.
Yeah.
So it got to a point in life when I was, going through my little reflection and just trying to find my like inner peace and, my
Yeah.
own self-love and things of that sort. So where I
Mhm.
started venturing off to these karaoke spots in New York by myself. And then it
Mhm.
even gave me like more confidence in like my singing and everything too, because I wasn't always Mr. Get on stage and just
Yeah.
let it rip. Like it was like, damn, like I'm really about to be standing in front of a couple people. And it's
Right.
not even like it's a packed thing. And I've done performances, throughout my
Mhm.
childhood and stuff like that, but like it was just always nerve-wracking. But
Yeah.
in my more adult years where I actually took that step in reflection and, self-love and stuff, like it actually made me very conscious of being alone and very okay with being alone, whether it be relationships, just hanging out, traveling or whatever. So it's I know what I'm doing. So it's receiving me and I'm receiving it as well. But like I
Yeah.
said, just a lot of pros and cons as well to consider. But it's good.
Yes, I'm glad that you noted that. I want to talk about that journey,
Mm,
and also that confidence. Being alone, sometimes people see it as a bad thing.
hmm
So, can you tell me how being alone kind of elevated your thinking when it comes to life? Actually, and not lonely, alone and
Yeah.
not lonely,
Yeah.
because that's two different things, and
hmm
sometimes people blend them together, and
hmm
it's not always the case. So I just want you to talk about that a little
No
bit.
problem. So I'm gonna tell you how I got to this journey real quick, right? For those who don't know, I'll give you a little tea about me,
Okay.
right? I do
Mhm.
have offspring, right?
Yeah.
Um, and my youngest son, he's 9 now. I was with his mom for about like 6 years.
Yeah.
We lived together the whole 9 yards. Came a point in time where things just didn't work out, unfortunately.
Understood.
And it was quite the downward spiral for me personally. I took it very
Mhm.
hard.
Mhm.
Um, Aside from losing that family dynamic and that family
Yeah.
aspect and living together, literally it was a ripple effect. I lost them. I ended up losing my job. I lost
Mhm.
my apartment.
Mhm.
And I ended up back in a bad situation, like living wise.
Mhm.
It was a good situation because I had somewhere to go, but it was
Yeah.
bad because there really wasn't any space for me.
Mhm.
And with me having about like 10 years of my life being somewhat homeless, from
Mhm.
15 to like 24, 25 type of ish, I was
Mhm.
now back in that situation,
Yeah.
to where I was sleeping on couches and floors, right? So with that as well, I ended up having to get knee surgery from football.
Mhm.
So literally five things that
Yeah.
I cherished or worked hard to achieve or whatever the case may be was all taken away from me like in a matter of probably like 3 months, right? 2 or 3 months. So it got to a place where I was like really down, I was depressed, and like the normal me would always hop into the next situation, right? Because
Yeah.
it was easy for me to do so.
Yeah.
Um, and at that point in my life, and even prior to her and everything else, I was always focused on filling voids that was just not there from family, like not having love in my life,
Yeah.
Or not being loved by the ones that's supposed to love you the most, like your mom, your dad, and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. It was just a constant battle for me.
Yeah.
So after losing all those things in the same aspect, or same time frame, uh, the only thing that I had going for myself was me finishing school.
Yeah.
And even with me being injured, I made it my obligation to struggle to go from deep in Long Island, which is far out east, and
Yeah.
taking trains and stuff to the city. And it was really hard because by the time I got to school, I was sweating bullets. People, on the train and stuff, wouldn't give me a seat. Like I was just in so much pain, but that was the only thing that I had, right?
Mhm.
So with that being the only thing that I had, I'm like, damn, like, what else can I do? Like, how can I make myself feel good about just living? Because I
Yeah.
wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of turmoil and everything else that I had to do. I
Mhm.
really wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, I think somebody invited me to a karaoke spot or something like that. And naturally, I'll be like, why don't I grab a friend or why don't I call the next shorty and maybe
Yeah.
she'll come with me or whatever, and of
Yeah.
course dumb things start happening after that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what, I think I need to do this on my own. Like everything in me was just like, it's time for you to start doing things on your own. Like you don't need a girl. I mean, clearly I was in a bad situation. Like it was to the point where I couldn't even bring like a girl to the house because I didn't have anywhere for her to like kind of chill with me, right? And no privacy, no nothing.
Yeah.
And as a grown ass man, like that's not okay, right?
Yeah.
So I started venturing out alone. I got better with my knee. Rehab went very well because I'm not one to like kind of stay down.
Yeah.
And I want to get back out there. And football was also another like money maker for me because they paid me to like travel, go to different tournaments and stuff like that. Um, so I got better. I started going to karaoke by myself in the city, in which, like I said, I got my confidence back. And eventually, my career started taking off in the medical field. For those who don't know what I do organ transplants. I don't transport organs. I transplant them because a lot of people get that misconstrued. Like
Yeah.
when I say, "Oh, I do organ transplants," they're like, "Oh, so like you take them to one place and you bring them X, Y, and Z." Like that is
Yeah.
in the midst of what we do somewhat because once we get the organ and stuff that we need from the recovery, we have
Yeah.
to now get back on a plane, on a private jet, and go back to our home base and stuff so that it can be transplanted into
Yeah.
the recipient.
Okay.
Um, so my
Oh
career
wow,
started
that's cool.
so my career started taking off. I started working originally at the medical examiner's office in New York, in which I learned how to do autopsies top to bottom by myself, by physicians. Um, then I started doing tissue recovery in New York, in which I was doing the removals of bones, tendons, skin, veins, all that other gruesome stuff. I'm not gonna get too far into that.
Yeah, look, I'm so amazed. Oh my gosh,
I
yes,
mean,
come on.
you guys questions whenever you want to.
I'm loving it.
And then after that, I got the opportunity to move out here for an organ procurement organization. So that's how I ended up here. It was work. But
Mm,
anyway, so yeah, so that was kind of the journey. And I always like feel like as much as it sucks, like I needed to lose my family
yeah.
in order to get to where I am now because I feel
Mm,
like I was super complacent. And it wasn't like I wasn't elevating because essentially me being in that relationship with my younger son's mom was the beginning of my elevation. Like
mm,
she was the stepping stool or stepping stone that I needed in order to figure things out some more, right?
mm,
Um, but I needed to fall back on my ASS in
yeah.
order for me to again, one, love myself because even though I was in that relationship and I did have somebody that loved me, like I didn't know how to reciprocate that.
Mm,
And even with my kids, like I really didn't know how to show them love because I've been through so much. I didn't have love from nobody, so I didn't
mm,
know how to give it to anybody else. And for me personally, I'm not gonna lie, I was just out here slinging, you know what?
yeah.
Like
Look,
I was just out here slinging, y'all. But
yeah.
yeah, so that was a little bit of my journey. But now
Mhm.
I'm doing a lot better. Like I said, I've learned to venture out by myself.
Mhm.
And every time that I did end up by myself prior to me going on that reflection and that growth
Mhm.
spurt, I did feel like I was alone because again, it was voids that were keeping me in that place. There was so much weight on my shoulders from not having whatever it is that I had from parents and stuff like that, that I did feel alone. But
Yeah.
when I went through that reflection, I realized me being in these establishments by myself, or me
Yeah.
traveling by myself, or me just being to myself and enjoying just my space. Like
Yeah.
you being alone can get you so far in life because no, number one, you don't have to worry about nobody else, right?
Yeah.
Number two, you can peacefully find. I got a two-bedroom, two bath in here. Can you see my bed?
No. Mm-mm.
Good. Just because my door is wide open. I just realized Carrie face in here. But anyway, so but I, I I realized the power of just being in your own space
Yeah.
and being in your own lane and not having to really worry about what people say or feel about you or X, Y, and Z because you're getting it on your own. Not everybody can say that. And I'm gonna tell you, like I had no help whatsoever. Not from my
Mhm.
dad, not from my mom, like nobody. Along the way, even in those times where I was homeless for those 10 years or so, I had people who attempted and acted like they wanted to help. And
Mhm.
then once they was done with me for whatever purpose that they had, they disposed of me and put me back in the same situation.
Mhm.
So that was like a big lesson that I learned to where
Mhm.
like, nah, like I don't want to call on nobody else. I don't want to depend on nobody else because
Yeah.
I've been through this already and I already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally, I'll give you a prime example. So like I said, I played football. I was really nice at it. I'm still nice at it.
Yeah.
Um, and one of my coaches who knew my situation, he decided to take me in. It was
Mhm.
him and his wife, and they two big pit bulls that they had. It was solid pit bulls. I ain't gonna lie, I was
Yeah.
scared when I first got there. But he took me in for a couple months. I had like maybe two seasons with him, and
Yeah.
I want me joining his team finally got him the two championships that he needed, right?
Mhm.
And as soon as those championships was over, he was giving me all the troubles in the world. Now, mind you, I'm gonna tell you what my day looked like living with them.
Mhm.
I would have to get up at I want to say like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and be ready to go within like 15, 20 minutes because he would have to drop me off uh, far away from the destination that I needed to go to because I had to go to school first and then I had work later on at night. So he would just drive me down this one road that he was going down and drop me off, right? And then I would have to walk miles to
Mhm.
get to the school that I needed to go to, right? And
Yeah.
then after school, I needed to figure out a way to get to work, right? And
Mhm.
then by the time I'm done with work and was getting off late, when I mean
Yeah.
late, I probably got off work, I want to say like maybe midnight or something like that. By that
Yeah.
time, there was no buses or trains that went to his area, right? So
Mhm.
I would have to take uh I want to say a bus or I forgot exactly which one, a bus or a train to a certain stop, which was far away from his location, and walk 2 towns over just to get to his house because I had nothing and no one to pick me up and take me over there. So by the time I got to his crib, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And then the next day I got to get up at 5 and do it all over again. But it got to a point after he won these championships to where I got there at 2 o'clock and he knows my schedule. I'm knocking on the door, and he would literally leave me outside and not answer the door. And I know you know I'm at the door because your dogs is barking loud as hell.
Yeah.
I can hear you through the window or whatever the case may be, but
Mhm.
yet you're making it seem like I did something wrong or like. So again,
Yeah.
people's everyone's help ain't really help, right? And you got to be choosy about who you even allow to get into your business like that or even offer you
Yes.
help because even those friends or those family members, whether it comes to money, X, Y, and Z, they just don't have the right mentality for it. And knowing that you're in a certain situation, what they're going to do is pressure you about that money or X, Y, and Z that they lent you. All they're gonna do is hold it over your head. Like I done seen it played out time and time again, and I just got to a point where I just didn't want that
Yeah.
anymore. I didn't want
Yeah.
anyone to have any type of power over me anymore, and I got it done all by myself.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. And it does really suck for you to actually go ahead and make your commitment on your end, and then the other person doesn't hold it up their end of the bargain.
Hmm.
And then you're discarded as if you didn't just win these two
Yeah.
championships. Like, so yeah, that's really terrible. And just thinking about when I was just talking about this, forming bonds and connections with people when we don't really know who they are.
Hmm.
We don't know their heart. We don't know their spirit. It's just like, it's just like at your most desperate time, sometimes that's when it gets you. That's
Hmm.
when it gets you. And it really sucks sometimes, like for
Super.
those things to happen. Yeah. So I appreciate you for even sharing that, and then also knowing your background. You technically really ain't have nowhere to stay anyway.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Yes. So now living in your two bedroom, two bathroom. That's just beautiful. That's
Yeah,
beautiful. Life
I
has
love it.
took a full 360.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. Whenever I go back home and I like go to my schools and all this other stuff, and then
Yeah.
they figure out what it is that I do, and then me still
Yeah.
being active like sports wise and all this other
Yeah.
the good stuff. Man, like nobody could have saw this. Like I used to have teachers cry about me and my situation, knowing I was a good kid and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But to know that my mom was out here putting me on probation over stupid stuff or trying to force me to do ROTC and I had to cut my braids off and stuff like that. I had me in there crying one time. Like
Yeah.
it was just a lot of stuff that I had to go through, man. Like I said, with all the accolades and everything, whether it was sports, whether it was singing, in high school, like I had no support. Like that, I don't want nobody on here to get it twisted. Like when I mean pretty much from birth, I've been on my own, man. Like I've been on my own, but everything really took off in regards to like me being on my own, like really,
Yeah.
really at
Yeah.
15. Like my mom lost her place. Um, and at that point I just had nowhere to go. And my dad pretty much told me I can't come stay with him because his wife didn't want me there with him and his kids type of
Mhm.
ish. Um,
Mhm.
which he never acknowledged, even when I had the conversation with him. And
Yeah, that's hard to admit.
that's yeah, but like
Mhm.
at least
Mhm.
the saving grace with my mom, which has her back in this circle of mine,
Mhm.
is that she finally got to a point where she acknowledged like her wrongdoings, right?
Yeah.
Acknowledgement goes a long way. But with him,
Yeah.
he literally was on some like, nah, that didn't happen. I chose to be on the streets for 10 years.
Mhm.
Like make it
Mhm.
make sense.
Yeah.
Like
True.
honestly.
Yeah.
Um, And then something else happened after that, which I was just like, yeah, you dead. You dead to me.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I know our parents is our parents. We only got one.
Yeah.
And I promise
Mhm.
you, I have forgiven him in the situation. Uh,
I just want to talk about that. Self
yeah, but
forgiveness
yeah.
in yourself.
I promise you, when it comes to
Yeah.
both of my parents, like I
Yeah.
forgave it because it used to
Yeah.
be so draining to me. Like,
Yeah.
and it used to be the excuse that I was putting forth every freaking day. Like, what's happening to me isn't my fault. Like, they put me in a situation. They never came to any of my games. They never did this. They never did that. It was just to me, it was just so unfair, and it was. It
Yeah.
was. Um, but at a certain point in life, like you got to realize that life and death is in the tongue, right? That's what they say. Life
Yeah.
and death is in the tongue.
Mhm.
And most of the time, you gonna have to step out by yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's okay. Like just because you by
It
yourself
is.
don't mean that you ain't gonna be able to make it.
Exactly. I'm really glad that you brought that up about parents, because I did talk about parents in one of my earlier episodes.
Mm,
But just thinking about what helped me to like I'm not I'm gonna say get through and process, because one of my parents was part of my process. My father is no longer living, but I didn't see everything that she did behind the scenes. I didn't see
Mm,
what she had to deal with on a day to day as to why she came home emotionally drained, why she couldn't give me love also
mm,
in the way that I wanted it. Not she gave it to me in the way that she knew how. And so that's what helped me to kind of like move forward because I just told her the other day, I said, I love you so much because, Ma, like you did everything you could because I see what I'm going through right now as a single
mm,
mom. So I'm like, you did everything you could. I know everything wasn't right, but you did everything that you could. And I just, I could never be in your situation or what you were in
mm,
because not even like knowing everything that she was going through. Like she
mm,
was going through a lot. It's a lot to be a single mom of three kids. Like and they're all like close in age except for the last one where you actually do have the support, but then again the support isn't really there.
mm,
So I yeah. And so it's interesting that you brought that up and thinking about it in hindsight about how our parents, they do, some of our parents, of course, some of them
yeah.
they do so much for us, but sometimes as kids we see the absence of their presence.
Mm,
And I guess that's why people say like, your family comes first, but I gotta pay the bills though. Like I
yeah.
gotta make sure the kids okay. So I gotta take time away from the kids.
So let me ask you real quick. So
Yeah. Mhm.
your mom, right? Obviously you
Yeah.
said she's a single mom of three. So
Yes.
that I understand like that means time away, right? But
Yes. Oh Lord.
did you play any sports and stuff like that?
Actually, I did, but then
Okay.
again, I did not pursue. And my mom actually was, from what she told me, she was a good softball player. She has a sports body
Hmm.
build. And
Now,
she's way shorter than me. But I did, she couldn't support me. She didn't go to any
oh, she didn't go to any of
games.
your games or
She
anything
didn't
like
go
that
to
either?
nothing, nothing. I kind of had
Okay.
to push myself. Like I did badminton. I just
Yeah.
did it. I like to do stuff because
Yeah, yeah.
somebody told me I can't do it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
played
yeah.
badminton for 2 years. My mom didn't come to the games. And that didn't, I was just happy to get out the house. Like at first I was
Yeah.
like, okay, dang, she not here. Everybody parents here. But then I was like, hey, I'm at the house. I'm having a good time. It is what it
Yeah.
is. I ain't
I
gotta watch
feel you.
my
See,
sister.
but your mom's is
Yeah.
working though, right?
She was working.
So
She was
so all right. So
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, right? For me personally, I wish I could say
Mhm.
the same thing, right? If that was the
Yeah.
case, I would be like, you know what? Damn, in hindsight, maybe I
Yeah.
was I was a little too harsh on it, right?
Yeah.
But I guess I'll tell you a little bit about my mama. Oh God.
Okay.
Uh,
Sorry,
my
mama.
mom, yeah, sorry, mama. I love you now though, so it's cool. Um, my mom lives off the system, right? It's been that
Hmm.
way since forever.
Yeah.
Um, and she used to be so invested in her relationships over her
Mm.
kids.
Understood. Understood. Yeah, I understand.
So I didn't even learn how to cook from my mom or anything like that. Like I didn't have anybody to teach me anything. My mom still to this day does not know how to cook. But there was times when I had like performance events, like we was doing Motown musicals and stuff like that, to where I would literally get her free tickets to just
Hmm.
come and support. You don't have to
Yeah.
pay for nothing. Like I know money's tight or whatever the case may be. Just
Hmm.
show up, right?
Hmm.
And she did none.
Hmm.
Now, the one performance that killed me inside and out was we was doing one of our musical reviews and it was around Mother's Day. And
Hmm.
we came up with the idea to sing Song for Mama for all of our moms. And that was the show that I gave her free tickets to.
Hmm.
She didn't show up. So
Hmm.
while we were roaming through the aisles looking for our moms to give them the roses that we had while singing, I had to give my rose to somebody else's mom
Hmm.
because mine
Hmm.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
And with all the sports and everything else that I played as well, like, and when I mean my trophy closet, my medals and everything else is stacked,
Mhm.
She's never been to any. And then the one time she did come is when I was an adult. I was playing semi-pro football.
Mhm.
She almost did not come,
Mhm.
but had to get cursed out by my sister
Mhm.
to come because she was too busy getting drunk and plastered the night before.
Oh my gosh.
So she
Mhm.
showed up late to that game, but essentially was not going to come again, even as an adult. Like we done been through this process as a kid and everything else. I'm hoping and praying, that this will be different. You saying you're gonna come. I'm kind of excited as an adult that you're gonna finally come and see me ball out. And
Yeah.
you still was going shit the bed as an adult. Like it
Mhm.
that 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 was listen, man, I was in my feelings when that happened. Like she showed up, I didn't even want to take pictures with her and all this other stuff. And the cool thing was like my dad and them showed up too for the first time.
Oh,
So that
okay.
so that was a cool little experience. But
Yeah. Did
yeah,
you have so with all that, did you have a role model? Like, do you? Because
nah,
I honestly do not have a role model. Like, I'm not going to even lie. There's people I can learn from, and it's based off of my childhood, but I can't
yeah,
say I have a role model. I have
nah.
people that I feel like I learn from, and they are so amazing. They speak good. They speak very well. They speak very eloquently. They
Hmm.
teach me stuff. They have knowledge, but I can't say I have a role model. So I don't know if that's like I don't know if that has anything to do with how I grew up or not, or like what happened in my life, but
Hmm.
more so people that inspire me. I don't know. Do you have any role models or inspirations?
So I definitely didn't have like no
Mhm.
real role models, right?
Mhm.
But as you said, you know some really eloquent people who, you could just kind of idolize in a sense, and you're like, you
Yeah.
know what, like you're doing a good work. So like one of the choir teachers who we performed with, her name was Lynette Carr Hicks, and she's still doing a great work with the kids in another school district now. She was somebody that I kind of idolized because when I was at my lowest, she was one of the teachers that cried for me, right?
Hmm.
Also, I saw what she was doing with everybody else. I saw the inner child that I was able to release around
Hmm.
her and the program in which she was like incorporating me to be a part of.
Hmm.
Um, and it felt great because I ain't gonna hold you. Like I was a little street. Like I know I don't give that off these days, but that's
Yeah.
another reason why I'm like cool, calm, and collected. Because number one,
Yeah.
I just be always on my P's and Q's, and I just be like, so I,
Yeah.
I try I try to just stay out the mix because it's like nah, like I'm a little uptight when it comes to certain,
Mhm.
environments
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But y'all know me. If I'm in somewhere comfortable, like I'm gonna have a good time. Like I have a good time
Yeah.
with y'all and stuff like that. But it's just
Yeah.
that nah, I gotta be alert at all times.
Yeah.
So that she was one of my idols because anything aside from her and the musical reviews and stuff that we was doing in school and sports, I was in the street. I was in a gang. I was robbing people. I was doing so many things that I ain't gonna say I ain't know was wrong,
Mhm.
but that's all I had. That's all I knew,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And then it got to a point to where I started going to church because one of my friends, shout out to Rayshawn Ulysses, he's a little church boy, right? And me and him also played football and we sung together. Uh, he invited me to come out to church,
Mhm.
and I ended up doing so.
Yeah.
And in the midst of me doing so, for once in my life, I was able to release and shed tears, right?
Mhm.
And I knew from that moment this was something that I needed, right? Regardless if I wanted to be there or not, regardless if I thought it was stupid, regardless if I really didn't know anything about it, I
Yeah.
knew I needed to be there.
Yeah.
And for the longest of time, it felt like home. Everybody knew me. I ended up joining the choir, using my talents, a little bit,
Yeah.
using my talents a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, but then eventually, like everything else in my life, I lost that too.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why I ended up losing that. Because like I said, at first I felt everything in my spirit saying I needed to be there, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's through song, whether it was through the word that was being preached, the whole
Mm.
shebang. But then it got to a point where one day I was in there, we were singing, excuse me, and I couldn't feel anything. My entire
Mm.
body was numb
Oh,
because
wow.
what I was now receiving and looking at was everybody in the church being hypocrites, bad mouthing people all over, like literally just sitting in the aisles while service is going on, just talking about people. Well, I'm looking at the preacher who is going on vacation the week before with two choir members.
Oh my.
I'm looking at the fact that,
Mm.
oh, I can sing and people want me
Yes.
to lead sing and all this other stuff, but yet I'm being
Yeah.
tossed aside for whatever reason. I have no idea. I'm looking at the deaconess who should know me because I've been there for like years and I'm singing at all these other churches with y'all and doing this, that, and third, who turned me away because she didn't know who the hell I was. And I'm just
Mm.
like, it was that one day I'm literally singing, and this is one song that we used to sing that used to get me all the time, and it's by Kevin LeVar, Here I Am.
Okay.
And that was like our little altar call or whatever. When I mean, I was sitting there singing, I'm listening to my boy Ray Ray do his thing as always. My eyes just started wandering, and I'm just looking back and forth at everything that was
Mm.
wrong. And everything in my soul was like, yo, you need to go.
Yes. Your body be knowing. I'm telling you. I'm
Literally,
telling you.
it was, yo, you need to
I'm
go.
telling you. I'm
and
telling you.
and I never turned back. I like
Mm.
it got real. It got real at that point. And then
Yes.
I tried to go to different outlets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but it just didn't work out. Like
Yeah.
it didn't. And I'm not saying it's the end of all.
Yeah.
Because I'm still a believer or whatever. You know, I
Yeah.
would say that I'm more spiritual these days than like a actual religion because again, I
Yeah.
just see like a lot of nonsense that goes on within the church,
Yes. Yeah.
especially the black church, unfortunately. Um, and I just don't want to be a part of that. Not saying that there aren't good churches. Don't make it seem like
Yeah.
I'm saying don't go to church, anything like that. I would love to find a nice home, right? And I know there's been some
Yes.
recommendations in the chats.
It has. It definitely
So
has.
so I might let y'all snatch me up one day. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, I just I had to go. I had to go away from that. I had to. But
I
that
would love. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, but so those are the only two outlets I really had. Church at that time, and
Yeah.
that lady. That's somebody that I idolized. I had no real
Yes.
manly figures. It was street shit for me. And it was the wrong thing to do at the time, but
Yeah.
that's what I had to deal with.
I would say like when you have favor over you, and this is just me based on my spiritual, like, because I'm getting back into it because of how I grew up, and the church I grew up in just wasn't good. It was not a good church. There was greed, there was all of that going on. But learning that when God has favor over you, He's going to speak through you, in you. And I feel like that may have been one of those times. So, rightfully so, getting up out of there because of all of the stuff that was going on. And, just speaking on that, just your body just be knowing, like,
Hmm.
we're not perfect humans. Like, we are flesh. Flesh is imperfect. But I feel like at the same time, when you're trying to do good, when you're trying to do your best, even when you're not doing your best, I feel like God is still there. God is still like trying to help you and try to guide you. And in that moment,
Hmm.
it sounds like He was guiding you up out of there. Like,
Yeah. And
so,
they tried their hardest to get me back because I know like I probably
yeah.
went back in there like two or
Uh-huh.
three times just because I was like in town. Because at that point, again, I was moving all around from house to house and
Yeah.
trying to find my way. So when I had time, I just stopped in. And it was like, oh my God, we miss you. And although we all want to be somewhere where everybody knows your name type of thing. Um, and it feels like home. I did still get that feel because everybody knew me,
Yeah.
but I wasn't gonna sit there and lie and say I was coming back because I
Hmm.
I knew that's not where I needed to be.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. You did say you had offspring. I want to know, does your journey, how's your journey on the kids? Like, would you say that there's any values that you've instilled in them based on what you've gone through or anything like that?
For sure. The number one thing that I try to like, get them to see is that regardless of the separations with the mom or whatever the case may be, that they still have a unified family. All right.
Mhm.
Because we all kind of get caught up in the separation, and I don't,
Yeah.
one kid may feel like, you love the other one more than them, or one
Mhm.
kid might feel like, you too stern. Because I'm not gonna lie, at one point in time, I was super stern on my oldest. Um, Again, I just didn't, that was, I want to say right before, in the midst of me trying to find myself, with the
Mhm.
whole reflection and journey that I went through. Um,
Mhm.
but the thing that sucked was that his mom would hit me up about him kind of messing up in school or missing assignments and this, that, and the third. So when he came to me, like, I didn't know how to have fun with my kids. I didn't know how to love them at the time, right? Um, so that was one thing that I had to like kind of flip the switch and learn how to do. So now I've instilled in them like knowing that it's okay to like love another
Mhm.
man, like especially your dad, like not on some
Yeah.
craziness, but it's okay to show love because at one point in time I didn't do that and I didn't know how to, but I want you to understand that you got love from both your mom and your dad. I'm going to hug
Mhm.
on my kids. I'm going to kiss them on their forehead, do whatever it
Yeah.
is that I need to do, like, because I didn't get any of that. So the biggest lesson that they need to learn, which I had to learn the hard way, is that dad is going to be there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It ain't all about just mom. It ain't all about just mommy. Like dad is here
Mhm.
too. So whenever you
Yes.
need daddy, call me. Whenever you need daddy, text me. You need daddy to come back to New York, I'm there. I go to New York all the time because
Mhm.
regardless of where I am, I need to be present.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh, and that could be a whole episode because I was thinking about kind of because I had Pat on here. He was also talking about his kids as well. So
mm,
just the presence of the dad, I think is really, really important. One of the things I said the other day is emotional regulation for the fathers when it comes to like being a new dad. I
mhm,
think all new dads deserve some mental health support because that is hard. Even parenting classes, even somebody to come in and say, this is how you do this is how you do that. Then we won't be out like fish in the water,
yeah.
when the kid comes and stuff like that. So
I agree
um,
though, because
yeah.
I was actually having a conversation with my friend Alan, who lives in Atlanta now. He's from
Mhm.
back home in New York though, and
Yeah.
I told him even before his kid came, I was like,
Yeah.
"Yo, listen, man, if I don't give you any other advice, I'm gonna give
Mhm.
you this.
Mhm.
Whatever you feel is enough, do more,
Yeah.
right?" And and that's catered to the woman in the situation, right?
Yeah.
Because we get caught up thinking that, oh, just because, we took the baby for a little bit, know what I mean, give you a little break, that's the end of all. Like,
Mhm.
nah. Like when I used to get up early on the weekends, make
Mhm.
breakfast, make sure
Mhm.
everybody's straight, take a
Yeah.
nap afterwards with the baby, go to sleep. Like I thought I was doing something. I used
Mhm.
to make sure she didn't have to go to the grocery store anymore. So, hey, we need groceries. All right, cool. You stay here. I'm gonna go take care of that. I'll be back. You don't gotta lift no bags. You don't gotta come. You don't gotta do nothing. I got that.
Mhm.
Oh, you want me to take most of the rent or do whatever? Oh, don't worry about it. I got that. But there's a
Mhm.
mental and a physical aspect
Yeah.
that be kind of taken for granted a little bit,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Those nights where we don't want to get up, And of course, y'all as mothers, y'all motherly instincts, y'all gonna get up, do what y'all gotta do or whatever.
Yeah.
Nah, we as men sometimes gotta take that responsibility on full fledged because the mom, y'all got them all day. Y'all need a break too. Yo, go out and go do your thing. I'm like, bro, listen, you're gonna need to give her a break. I know you may think you taking the baby in the crib and she just going to rest or whatever is all that you need. Like,
Yeah.
nah, bro, like that is a serious situation right there. That PTSD, not PTSD, what they call postpartum depression and all that other
Postpartum.
stuff. Like that's a serious thing. That is a
Yeah.
serious thing. Like I need you to lock in and make sure your child and your girl is straight.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I feel that sometimes that is what's missing. But it takes what you just stated, like a person to actually say, hey, man, look, this is what's going on, and this is what I'm seeing, and this is what you're thinking. So it's more
Hmm.
so that mental aspect of it all, because of course, she may want you to go ahead and do all those things, but at the same time, how are you helping with her emotions? How are you helping with
Hmm.
her thoughts of thinking something bad is going to happen to the baby? Like, because that is one of the things that does happen after giving birth. Like sometimes some women, I know even for myself, was thinking about like, oh, I hope nothing bad happened to this baby,
Hmm.
and this was part of my postpartum depression as well. Being a new mom, not even having the resources, or my spouse at the time not knowing what to do either. So we both didn't know what to do. And that's why it's really, really important for us to kind of get that support in those examples. And then just people just reaching out like your friend did, like do
Hmm.
more. Like that's not enough. Like you should do more. Okay. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So I want to talk about your health journey, because I see you're very, very active. And when I see people active in that form, I really feel like they have a story,
Hmm.
like a reason why they're so dedicated to
Hmm.
health as well as fitness, within it, like our what we put in our body and things like that. So what brought you to the point of I'm taking care of myself? I know you're an athlete, but what brought you to that point to continue
I
the
mean,
health?
there's a lot of things, right? It's just me being conscious of like the quality of food, like how we talked about the quality of food in restaurants and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's the
Hmm.
quality of food that's being placed in our grocery stores as well, right?
Hmm.
Like it's down to the point where I have like a little scanner app on my phone called Yuka. And I go down the aisle scanning stuff. Like if you ask anybody that's either been in my crib or like really been around me, like we went out to eat or whatever, like I'm Mr. Bougie, right? And I think the first step, honestly, was my younger son's mom, right? Because I told you she kind of elevated me. She was a little
Hmm.
classy, a little
Hmm.
classy, right?
I love it.
To the point where we always do like little matching clothes, dress up, and go
Yes.
out to eat, and like that was step one, right? Um, when learning how to like cook properly and realizing also because with me being lactose intolerant too, like I realized when you don't use like bagged or preserved products and you're using fresh like dairy, like the block cheeses
Yeah.
or things of that sort, or not the bagged fruits or vegetables, but actually getting the actual fruits and vegetables. Like there's a lot more nutrients and things that come into play when you're doing
Yeah.
things from scratch.
Yeah.
So with me getting that knowledge, me getting that app, the Yuka app, and then me,
Mhm.
ultimately just seeing what goes on around us in regards to the cancer, and me being in the medical field, to
Yeah.
in regards to the obesity that's within this country compared to
Mm.
everyone else, in regards to um, all of the dyes and everything else that's put into all of our snacks, all of our food, and like it's just I don't trust the government, right? And then I also
Yeah.
and then I also don't want to be a big guy, no
Yeah.
disrespect to anybody,
Yeah.
but the slightest moment where I feel like I'm even getting the dad bod and like I feel like I like it's just getting too pudgy. I start to go into panic mode, and I I
Yeah.
just don't want that for myself. Like
Yeah.
I don't microwave my food. If I need to heat something up, I put it up on the stove or in
Mhm.
the oven, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I got bougie water. All of my waters are in a can or
Oh,
like
that's right.
in like a aluminum type of thing rather than plastic, because
Yeah,
plastic, as we all know, is very bad, even though they
it
continue to put
is.
all of these supposedly good waters and stuff in it. It's just always a
Mhm.
problem with a lot of the things, the resources that we're receiving. So
Yeah.
I just try to minimize that. And yeah, I mean, working out for me personally, well, with the run, um,
Mhm.
honestly, it's just like it's a substitute for football because even though I could
Mhm.
still play football, I'm not gonna lie, I hate the football scene here in Houston. I
Mhm.
was actually very surprised about that. I thought it would be more physical, like how it is in New York, but
Yeah.
it's more handsy and no one wants to be touched type of thing.
Flag.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I travel and do like big tournaments and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But again, I'm used to being able to block, stiff arms, the whole 9 yards, like come up and make a play on a ball, like wrapping
Mhm.
dudes to make sure, they not dipping and ducking and all this other crazy stuff. But like literally it's a pity pat game here, and I don't like that. Uh,
Mm. Yeah.
so in order for me to find something that would keep me active, because I hate being idle. Like when I have
Yeah.
too much time on my hands and I'm bored in the crib, or like I need something to do. I don't want to be that guy. I never want to be that
Yeah.
guy. Even when I'm old, like I want to be outside because that's essentially how we stay young.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what it
Okay.
is.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're going to D. Butler's house to get some Perrier. The water. That water tastes so, so good.
Wait, you
Oh
want to
my
see my
God.
water? Let me see. Do I have
Yes,
another
let's
one?
see your water.
All right, hold
Let's
on.
see what your water look like. Yes, humor me.
Show y'all what I'll be drinking. Hold on.
I know it's in a glass bottle. I just know it.
Well, no, not these, but I do have Voss though. I have Voss too.
Yeah,
Voss is
Bossier.
another good choice. Okay, so I drink this. Can you see?
Oh, I've had that before. I
I drink
have,
this,
yes.
and then
Uh-huh.
the ones that sit in the refrigerator is this.
I've never had that one.
Now, Deja and them came over my house, and I gave them some water, and they was like, "Oh, you bougie, right?" So then she opened it and tasted it, and it was like, "What's this?
Yeah,
Hold on, I might have to get this." Telling you,
yeah.
hey, I'm advertising right now.
What's the case? What's the case like amount? Case amount.
So it's funny because I actually someone asked me that too in regards to like finding like a gallon or something like that, and I've actually
Yeah,
never done it. It being HEB, so I just go ahead and get the small case, which it only has eight cans of this one,
yeah,
and these only come singular, so I just buy as much as I want to. Like
yeah.
I make like a big triangle on my counter with the as if I'm playing beer pong. So
Oh my gosh. Those waters are good. The
uh-huh.
path water is so good. I've had it before. And my sister always kind of like comes down on me because she's like, I only want spring water. I don't want any purified water.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you telling me this? And she's like, well, if you get that bottle that water that you usually get from Target, it's okay. I'm not gonna drink it. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
I be hating when y'all get I don't know what you get, but I be hating
Yeah.
when they get all those little store brand stuff. And I
Yeah.
get it. People be on
Yeah.
a budget, the whole nine
Yeah.
yards. But
That's true.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna pay for some top quality. Like I'm gonna go broke paying for top quality. Like I just
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I understand that. I definitely understand that. And so, wrapping it up, you said like being healthy, of course, background football, and then as well as, you don't want to lose yourself within all these preservatives and these dyes and things like that. And I
mm,
feel like once it gets in you, sometimes it's really hard to get out. I know,
yeah.
like even for myself, I love coffee, I love caffeine.
Nope.
I know I drink a
Tea tea
Celsius
me
almost every
please.
day. I
Tea
love
me
tea.
please.
No, I love tea, but I also love coffee. See, that's the problem.
No, 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 no.
I'll do both of them.
You can't have it both ways.
I'll do both of them, and I won't care.
Uh,
Okay, so, but yeah, I definitely noticed that. Yeah, it's hard for it to come out
Yeah.
once it's in there. So yeah, definitely need to. I'm gonna work on that for
We
2025.
got you, man. Listen, man. And I'm somebody that's gonna hold people accountable.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I be forcing my friends. I don't want to say forcing, but I be
Mhm.
making sure they get their butt up and go to the runs and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. Like I want what's best for the people around me. So we can knock some things out, man.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. Whether it be no fast food, no bull
Yeah.
crap. Like I don't drink soda. I don't do fast food. Like
I don't drink soda. Hmm.
it's clip. So, and
Hmm.
I don't drink no more. So
That's probably about to be me. I love a good cup of wine. I'm not gonna
see that
lie.
that's it. You saw me my little
Yes.
bottle yesterday. I hold that little bottle. I'm
Yeah.
sharing. I ain't drinking the whole bottle. I'm sharing.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
that's all I need. That's all I
A
need.
good a good cup of wine, and next thing you know, I am knocked out, cold
Mm,
sleep.
I
It's
mean,
really good.
I ain't sleeping. I still got energy. But you know what I mean? Yeah,
You
I get what
got
I get what you mean though. I get what you mean.
Yes. Well, I just want to say I really, really appreciate you for coming on here, shedding light on, your background, your history, as well as being an athlete and mental health,
Mhm.
because all of that makes you who you are. And I didn't know some of these things about you, so I'm really, really
Nobody
glad.
did. Y'all lucky. Y'all lucky, man. I want
I'm
one.
gonna say,
Y'all
I got
lucky.
them
One
sisters.
one thing I'm good for, man, is giving out some good advice, sharing my journey about my past and everything like that. So as long as I got, the right person or audience to actually share that with and hoping that it will do something for them, then
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with sharing a bit.
Anyways, well, I thank you so, so much for being here. And I'm pretty sure all these little nuggets going to land somewhere with someone and resonate with someone. So
All
thank you
right.
so
All right.
much. Thank you so much, so, so much for doing
No
this on
problem.
this
No
beautiful
problem.
day. And I hope you have a good day, okay?
You too. Appreciate y'all. Much love.